Good evening, race fans, and welcome to round number 6 here at the Bull Ring here at Las Vegas Speedway for the Mtn Dew Modified Tour, presented to you by Tagare Property Management, here with the American Sim Racing Club. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you today's action, 1080p, 60 frames a second. I hope everyone's excited for another excellent race here for the Mtn Dew Modified Tour. 100 laps that we're going to be taking here around the Bull Ring, and it's going to be a particularly short battle, a duke out for these guys. 100 laps might seem like a lot, but this is just over a quarter mile of a track. If you are looking at the track info there on your screen currently, so we are going to see exactly who is going to survive this very short and unpredictable track here today, as this is going to be 100 laps of pure racing as we get ready to wrap up our practice here today and get ready for drivers to begin their qualifying for this event here today. And I gotta say, it feels like it's been a while since the last time we've been here up in the booth commentating this event here, but it's only been a full 7 days since we have last been here with the American Sim Racing Club for these events. So it's good to be back and ready to continue things on here, as always, as we always do, as drivers make their way onto the track and get ready to sort things out. Andrew Payne looking like he's having a little bit of issues there, but John Sinu in that number 86 machine looking like he is going to set some solid qualifying times here today. Going to get ready to start his first timed a lap. Ron Hart also on his first time lap here as well. There it is on your screen on the timing tower. Ron Hart is going to be beat out just barely by Brett Hahn in that number 71 machine. You can see the field slowly starting to fill its way out onto that timing tower to determine where they're going to start for today's race on the starting grid for the 100 lap feature, the only race that we're going to have here today. So we are not going to see dual features like that we saw last week. So these drivers are only going to have essentially one chance to get themselves the best time that they possibly can and the best start to this race. Now, anything can possibly happen here in this race, as it always does, so I wouldn't exactly place your hopes on just starting out in front and expecting to win from that position. As we've seen, that is not always going to work in everyone's favor here tonight. So Austin Nielsen in the 52 going sideways, going to take it back into pit road, get that sorted back out here as we watch Billy Thomas make his final attempt here to place a time. He's going to crack into the top 10 here as well in the number 9 machine. So we have 21 drivers here present today as well. So a good field to start tonight's event, and plenty of opportunities for action to take place, and we're going to be riding on board with all of it as much as we possibly can. Charles Darling, just as we switch to him in that number 88 machine, going to take it sideways for just a moment, coming out of turn 4 across the checkered line. And it looks like that is going to be the conclusion of most of our drivers here that have taken a qualifying lap. Brad Prenger in the 151 currently making his way around the track, going to take his first time lap here around the track, and that's going to put him in P14. And actually it's going to be just bumped down to P15, as Steve Cigars is also putting down some times here as well. So there it is. That's Brad's last and final attempt here at qualifying. And with 2 minutes left to go here, folks, this is going to be quite the interesting battle here, as right now, as it would seem, Andrew Payne, Brett Hahn, and Ron Hart are going to be your top 3 for the current starting grid. So that is going to be very interesting. It's a very good thing for that number 93 of Andrew Payne to be out there all the way out in the starting row, first row. It's going to be quite impressive to see that number 93 duke it out here with Brett Hahn, as Brett's going to be starting out on that outside row. Now, as all of the drivers have completed their qualifying lap, there is just going to be a moment here where drivers are going to have a chance to take a sip of water, get themselves ready for the race today, and get ready to get gridded for this event. And I got to say, folks, I'm excited. I hope that everyone else watching at home is also as excited as I am. These races are always very, very intense to watch. A lot of action to be seen throughout the race. So stay tuned, stick with the action. If there happens to be a lull in the action, feel free to take a step away and come back to it. That's usually the nature of most racing consumption, I would say, is you usually start the race, you watch it a little bit, and then once things start to stale out a little bit, you step away, you grab yourself a drink, and do what you got to do, and you come on back and you enjoy the rest of the show. Hopefully you don't miss anything important, but that's the risk that you take with things like that. But not quite the same as the risk that some of these drivers here tonight are going to be taking, as qualifying has officially ended here today, and we are going to get ready to round off our grid here for tonight. Starting out in the front row, Andrew Payne starting out in first place with Brett Hahn starting out in second place. The second row starting with Ron Hart in third, Zach Kaiser in fourth. Our third row with John Kane in fifth and Andrew Burr in sixth place. In the fourth row, Skip Gandy in seventh, Michael Witt in eighth. David Payton in the fifth row in ninth. Billy Thomas in 10th place on that outside. Eric Hahn in 11th. Nick Fleury in 12th place. We have Austin Nielsen starting in 13th with Steve Cigars in 14th. Brad Pranger in 15th. Nathan Hendry in 16th. Eric Papanow in 17th. John DeMeester in 18th. Charles Darling in 19th. Noah Boucher in 20th. Leo Lortz in 21st. Hayden Swank in 22nd. John Sinu in 23rd. And Christopher Campbell in 24th. And last but certainly not least, Richard Pruitt going to be last in the field, starting out in 26th/25th. Again, as Tanner Tallarico is not going to be participating in the race. However, he is going to be the race control. So Tanner is just, that is an error on the live timing side of things, but that is going to conclude our starting grid for today as we get ready to kick things off here for the first lap of today here at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Speedway. As drivers begin to make their way behind the pace car and get ready to kick things off here, looking at the field just slowly work its way off the starting line and back behind that pace car. Andrew Payne rocking that beautiful Team Goon Squad paint scheme here tonight as well. Got to give you a shout out and thank you to Andrew for supporting Team Goon Squad and rocking that paint scheme here tonight. If I am not mistaken, that is what that is. And Brett Hahn on the outside in that 71 machine, having the ability to start out here on the front row. It's going to be very promising that Brett Hahn here is going to finish exactly where he intended to and where he started here tonight. So I'm going to be paying attention to Brett here and going to see exactly what he's going to do here. In these very short battles here around this track, there's not a whole lot of opportunity, a whole lot of time to get speed going and really get the momentum moving. You really only have that front stretch to get things rocking and rolling here at the Bull Ring. So these guys are definitely going to be pushing things to the absolute limits in these modifieds, and it's going to be a lot of great action here, guys. I got to say, it's going to be fantastic here. Let's actually take a second here, and we might even try and ride. Actually, you know what? As the pace car is going to make its way down into pit road, we're going to ignore that here for a second as we are going to get started here on the action. The drivers are going to see that green flag be waved to them as they come out of turn 4 onto the front stretch, and there Andrew Payne goes, gets in the way from the rest of the field here, doing a great job staying as low as possible on that first and second turn. Andrew Payne doing that again going into turns 3 and 4. Brett Hahn still on the chase of that number 93 Brett's going to be doing that here for quite some time, but we got a yellow flag out already. The first caution of the night. Hayden Swank looking like he's going to be the driver involved here in this incident. Let's see if we can take a look here at what happens here in that number 35 machine. So as we're looking, we're coming out of turn 2 here, back onto the back stretch. Hayden Swank down low of the number, looks like the 16 of Noah Boucher. Everything looks to be calm and clear right now, but you never are too certain. And it looks like yep, there it is right there. Looks like the 108. The 108 of Leo Lortz just taps the rear driver's side of that 35 of Hayden Swank, sends him sideways, collects another driver. I believe that's David Payton. No, that is not David Payton. I'm uncertain who the other driver was that got collected in that, but a couple drivers getting involved in that first incident here, lap 3 of 100. So things are already starting to get spicy right off the rip. We're going to be paying attention to all this action here as it unfolds, but that start that we saw from Andrew Payne in that number 93 is going to be very impressive, and it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to pull off the same thing again here as the pace car makes its way down into pit road once again. We are going to get rocking and rolling on this restart here one more time. Andrew Payne with the green flag being presented, and there he goes once again, trying to get away from that field as best as he can. Doing a great job. He's doing it time and time again, just staying as consistent as possible, and that's all you want to see. And there we can see Brett Hahn in the number 71 machine. We already have our second caution flying here tonight. Looks like Zach Heiser potentially involved in this incident here. We're going to see if we can get a replay of that here. So here we go right off the start. Zach just a little bit too close, gets up into the wall of turn 2, excuse me. And that's going to put him down into pit road. He's smoking and everything. That's definitely going to have some severe damage to that number 14 machine. So that might be the end of Zach Heiser's race in that number 14. We'll keep an eye on him and see if that happens to be the case here. We also have Andrew Burr, who's also come down into pit road as well. Not sure if that's due to damage reasons or something or the other, but things shaking up here very early on in this race here, lap 4 of 100. We are going to get rocking and rolling here one more time as we come out of turn 3 and 4 onto the front stretch. And Andrew Payne looks like he was holding up the field there for just a second, waiting for that green flag to fly. And that might have been a smart move for the number 93 as well, as that's 71, and he's going to be on that hunt for quite some time. And if you were here for last year, for the super late models with American Sim Racing Club here, we saw Brett Hahn in the super late models absolutely destroy these short track races. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that Brett Hahn do the same thing here again, as Brett is getting absolutely close to that number 93 machine. He's looking on the outside coming into turn 3. Will he be able to make it stick in turn 4? Not quite able to. Looks like he had a little bit of a slip there for just a second, but that's not going to deter him. He's still going to be on that chase, and it looks like the number 86 as well is also getting lapped here. John Sinu being that lapped driver here as well. Already right off the rip, drivers already finding themselves getting lapped by the lead drivers here. And that just goes to show how small this track actually is. It can be very, very, very unforgiving for a lot of these drivers here tonight. But looking on our screens, you can see just how well a lot of these guys are doing here tonight. They're improving as things go on. Having already had 2 cautions come out, a lot of these guys do a great job of snapping themselves together, getting themselves back into the groove of things. You see it as we see a driver kind of tap the wall there, getting a little bit of a moment there. But Brett Hahn going to be on this hunt here of the number 93 of Andrew Payne, and that's going to be some exciting action here. And frankly, I don't think it's going to let up anytime soon. These two are definitely going to be battling here for quite some time. It seems like Andrew Payne is very comfortable here in these modifieds. He has shown some very, very promising performance throughout this season here. So it's very, very promising that that number 93 is going to take home the win tonight. But I don't want to call any jinxes. I don't want to give commentators curse. So we're just going to let things roll out, see how things carry on. But right now, I'm betting on Andrew Payne here to take things home in that number 93 here tonight. But we're going to keep an eye on that action. Oh, and as I just click away from as I just clicked away from the lead, guys, check on the number 38 here of David Payton. As the third caution flies, we actually have another driver getting a little bit of a moment. Brad Pranger gonna have just a moment here as he makes his way down the front stretch into turn 2. He's gonna get tapped and sent in to the top of turn 2. He's gonna wait for a moment as well to make sure he does not rejoin the field unsafely. Doing a great job there, making sure that he does not get hit, make the situation worse than it might already be. So, with the third caution flying here, lap 15 of 100, these guys are definitely feeling a lot of the pressure here tonight, I think. A lot of bumping and grinding, drivers very, very close to one another, and this track isn't exactly the biggest that you would see even for a short track. It's not exactly, I would say it's a little bit wider than some, but there's definitely some tight spots here at the bull ring that I think these guys are definitely finding a little bit difficult to give each other enough space, enough room, especially when you're trying to find the spot that you want to be at for grip reasons on your tires. As, not everywhere on this track is going to give you the same level of grip, same level of speed, and you might find yourself getting blown past by drivers who are on the better part of the track here as we get things rocking and rolling here once again with Andrew Payne here out in the lead once again. And it looked like we were having a little bit of a moment here with the number 38 and the 25 of Nick Fleury and David Payton. They go side by side here. Coming out of turn 4 across the checkered line, Nick Fleury takes it out in front for P6 at this time. David Payton going to be kind of lost behind there. He's going to have to regain that lost time to be able to regain that 6th place. But Nick Fleury doing a great job of that overtake as the 4th caution now flies here tonight. And it looks like a lot of drivers here are struggling to keep things green here for a good period of time. And I don't think it's the fault of any specific drivers. I think it's just this track is very difficult in nature. So looking at Christopher Campbell here in the number 51 machine, and here's kind of what I'm talking about. And that's not even a good example as we're looking at that. It looks like the 51 just got loose and wasn't able to recover and ended up dipping it down into the front stretch wall. And it looks like his engine is completely cooked as well, as he's going to be billowing smoke out of that 51 machine. So drivers are already kind of weeding themselves out here. We still have Zach Heiser, Richard Pruitt, and Christopher Campbell all still in pit road at this time. And it looks like Andrew Burr is also going to be out of this race here as well. But with the 4th caution out here today, and I would like to take a quick moment here to thank The sponsor of this event, of this series here with American Sim Racing Club, Tagare Property Management, up there in the top right-hand side of your screen as we just now go green here. I would like to give them a quick shout-out and a thank you for putting on this event, having Team Goon Squad broadcast this event. It's always great to be here, and it's always great to have sponsors, great sponsors that work with us and the leagues to help put these great events on. But as we go green here, with Andrew Payne still the leader of our race here today, doing great work. We have Skip Gandy in third place in that number 20 machine. He's up 4 positions from where he started here tonight. So looking like he's going to want to take a podium here at the Bull Ring. Lap 20 of 100. Noah Boucher looking like he's going to have a moment for just a second, but I am not going to be able to capture it here. Doesn't seem like it. And we're not going to go yellow as well. So things are still green. We're still rocking and rolling. Skip Gandy still on the hunt of the 71 machine, but it looks like these two guys out in front are looking to get away from this field here. The number 29 of John Kane is in 4th place right now, trailing, leading a trail of other drivers behind him. Michael Witt, Nick Fleury, David Payton, Eric Papanow, just to name a few that are currently chasing down the number 29 of John Kane. So these guys are all absolutely on a mission here tonight. But everyone a little bit of a moment there. Looked like from, I believe that might have been Eric Papanow, if I'm not mistaken. Leo Lortz going to be involved in an incident here as well. You can see the 108 down there on the bottom of your screen. Involved in an incident here. Let's see if we can take a look at that action here and see exactly what unfolded here for the 108. Going into turn 3. Gonna come out of turn 4, and there he goes. His rear end wants to get away from him. Just a little bit too much juice coming out of turn 4. And that's really all it takes. And really finding yourself on the spot of a track where you might have different levels of traction. If your tires are not fully on the part of the track that has traction, well, iRacing being the unforgiving simulator that it is, you'll have a bad time, is essentially what I'm trying to say here. But as this is going to be our 5th caution here, I'm wondering how this is going to affect the drivers, how this is going to kind of play into what their strategy is going to be here. We are just about a quarter of the way into this race here, and caution laps also do not count for this race here tonight. So it's not exactly going to hurt drivers if there's a lot of cautions, but it will make things a lot longer for drivers, which really isn't even necessarily the issue. The issue is having to constantly stop and restart. That is primarily the big issue that I think a lot of drivers will have, and it's understandable, and I think it's just bound to happen. It's one of those things. You get onto a track, and I also want to mention here, because this is an important note, that this is the first time that ASRC has come here to the Bull Ring at Las Vegas. So it is very, very likely that a lot of these guys have never practiced here before, have never really raced here before, and we're kind of seeing some of these kinks being worked out here on the first run at the Bull Ring. But as we go green here one more time, Andrew Payne still taking the lead here on the rest of the field, and he's done that consistently every single time, and that's exactly what you want to see here. So it's an absolutely great work that we're seeing here from the number 93. But looking back, you're going to hop with the Team Goon Squad drone camera from the number 26 perspective, Michael Witt. we're looking here, and you can see Michael in 4th place right now. He's chasing down Skip Gandy in that number 20 machine, who's in 3rd place right now. You have David Payton and John Kane kind of trailing behind him, both duking it out for P5 at this point in time. A lot of these guys all very, very close in battles to one another, a lot of them within a quarter of a second to each other. So everyone doing fantastic work. Looking even further back, we have Nick Fleury and Eric Papanow duking it out for P8 right now. And I gotta say, these guys are very close to one another. All it's gonna take is, oh, and there we go, the number 83 goes sideways there for just a, oh, and that's gonna cause him to go down into the wall. And I actually couldn't tell if that was the 83 or the 88. It looks like, no, that was the 88 of Charles Darling, having a little bit of a moment there, but we're not going to see a yellow flag come out. We're going to stay green, as it doesn't look like any other drivers were collected in that incident. It was just going to be the single car. Oh, and as I say that, Charles Darling gets into another driver. He goes flying for just a minute. That looks like the 108 of Leo Lort's going to be involved in that crash. The yellow flag goes flying here once again. Let's take a look at that one more time. Oh, man. Let's back that up here for just a second here, folks. I wanna ride on board here with Charles Darling, and I want to see, from Charles Darling perspective, how this unfolds here. We're going to take things into slow motion here as well. So riding on board with the number 88 of Charles Darling, there you go. We got the contact right there. Charles trying to correct. And there he goes. The 108 of Leo Lortz comes back down the track into the 88 of Charles Darling. Charles going for a little bit of a wobbly ride there as he goes bouncing up and down the back stretch. And he's going to recover. He's going to take things back out onto the track. But the 108 of Leo Lortz not going to be as lucky. And it looks like actually we're going to have both drivers down in pit road, Charles Darling and Leo Lortz. So it looks like both of them affected by that incident here. So unfortunate to see that happen. But again, that's part of racing. That's what happens. And it looks like here now we're actually going to go for... Nope, I was wrong. Right as I was about to say it, it looked like we were going to go single file restarts, but it looks like we are going to go double file. Nope, single file. We are going to go single file. All right. I gotta say, folks, it's been quite the action that we've had here. Now, this is our 6th caution of the race. Lap 31 of 100. But things have been absolutely thrilling this entire time, and it's been fantastic to witness it all unfold here. As we get ready, actually, we're gonna go double file for this restart. I was mistaken. I assumed that it was double file, but I thought I was wrong. Gotta go with your gut sometimes. Anyways, Andrew Payne, Brett Hahn going to be restarting here once again, and Andrew Payne gonna take that start like a champion, doing everything he can to stay out in front of the 71 of Brett Hahn. You can see the 71 still. Every restart that we've had here, Brett Hahn has been on that tail of the number 93, but it looks like Andrew Payne is just absolutely doing an incredible job of keeping it out in front of that number 71 here, even with Brett Hahn doing all the dive attempts that he can, trying to find any gap around that number 93. Now looking a little bit further back to 4th place right now, David Payton in the 38. He's got John Kane and really the rest of the field kind of strung behind him essentially at this point. But everyone's got a little bit a distance between each other. So we're not exactly seeing a whole lot of competition come from anyone for that 4th place position, but really the only person to look out for is that number 29 of John Kane, who's in 5th place. And the closest driver, we saw just there for a moment, the 051 Ron Hart getting very, very close there to the 29 of John Kane, looking very, very promising there for just a second for the 29 of John Kane as we ride on board with that number 29 machine here as well. You can see the 38 of David Payton just in front, and you can also hear the input being given by these drivers to these cars. And like I was saying earlier at the beginning of the broadcast, there's not really a whole lot of opportunity to get a lot of speed here at this track. The only place being right here at the front stretch. That's the only spot that you can really get a lot of speed going here, as the rest of this track is fairly curved. So you don't really get a whole lot of opportunity to get on that throttle and stay on it. So you really have to be very careful and very precise about when you get on that throttle and when you get off of it as well, as you want to stay as close to that inside as possible, as that seems to be where all the speed is at. But everyone here, lap 42 of 100, we're locking things in. Drivers are getting things sorted out. And everyone is starting to look very impressive there. Right as I said that, John Kane, those rear tires, man, they look like they wanted to snap away from him for just a second. That almost could have ended in disaster, and that's what I mean, folks. That's all it takes for these cars to get away from you on these turns. Just a little bit too much gas, and your car is going to be in the wall in a blink of an eye. But everyone here is doing a good job keeping it together. Everyone's trying their best, and that's all ultimately that we want to see here, is everyone just trying to do what they possibly can. And Nick Fleury doing exactly that, as he's starting to put the pressure on the 29 of John Kane. Nick Fleury looking on the inside. He wants to get around that 29 and take that 6th place position from him. He's going to have to get a little bit more speed going here. And it looked like he was about to have a run there, but it seemed to fade off for just a moment. But right now, it looks like we have a battle brewing here for 1st place, as Andrew Payne and Brett Hahn, they're within a 1/4 of a second of each other right now at this point. Brett Hahn, he's trying to take every opportunity still to take those dives to get around that number 93. Not a whole lot's working for him at this time, as that 93 is just very consistent looking here tonight. It's very impressive here to see that number 93 of Andrew Payne just absolutely dominating this field here tonight, having led 49 of 100 laps here tonight at the Bull Ring. Great work from Andrew Payne here tonight. Now I gotta say the same thing here for Brett Hahn as well. Brett has been absolutely on a mission to track down that 93, ring him in, and try and make a pass here. But like I said, Andrew is just killing it here tonight, doing great, fantastic work here. But checking back in with Skip Gandy in 3rd place. He's actually kind of found himself a little bit in his lonesome, so he might have found himself in a comfortable spot where if he can stay here, if he can just hold out in this spot for a little while, he'll be comfortable in 3rd place. Now, that's not exactly a bad spot to be in. You might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you want to be in 1st? Well, that's not always the point in racing, especially when you have a 12-week schedule and you get points over the series. It's not exactly ideal that you want to win every race here, but Skip Gandy is looking for consistency, and we've seen that start to improve for the 20 machine over time. I would have to say that Skip Gandy's increasingly gotten better as the season's gone on, and I can say that about a lot of drivers here as well. Everyone putting in work, trying to do as best as they possibly can here for these events. So it's really great to see all these guys putting in all the effort that they have been, and seeing all this action here unfold And speaking of action, we have Michael Witt in 8th place right now. John Kane in the number 29 machine just out ahead in front of him in 7th place. There's a little string of drivers here, but they're all almost bumper to bumper. The 26 of Michael Witt chasing down the 29 of John Kane. These guys are absolutely putting the pedal to the metal as much as they can. And like I was saying earlier, you don't want to be too aggressive on it. That can be quite costly. But these guys are giving it everything that they possibly can here. Riding on board with Austin Nielsen in the number 52 machine, we can see that action unfold from the 9th place perspective, and maybe even see the 52 of Austin Nielsen try and make an attempt at passing the 26 here, as the 26 gets a little sideways for just a second. And we've seen that here all night. These guys have been fighting these cars here on this track, and I almost want to say that a lot of guys here might, like I was saying earlier, they might not have put in a whole lot of practice here or ever been here before. And it's definitely showing that these guys might be struggling a little bit here with this track, and it definitely does not look to be forgiving. But these guys pulling it together. Lap 62 of 100, even with these cars and these tracks fighting these guys tooth and nail. And as I say that, Austin Nielsen just taps the back of the 26 of Michael Witt, but we're going to keep it green, keep rocking and rolling here. Oh, man, that had me on the edge of my seat for just a second. Ow. Austin Nielsen doing the good thing, though, not trying to overtake the 26, letting them get by, but that's going to leave the door wide open for Hayden Swank in the 35 to take that 9th place position, and that's going to push Austin Nielsen. Ooh, Steven Seagar's in the 973, 12th place right now. He's pushing Eric Papanow in that number 43. There he goes around the bottom, out of turn 2 on the back stretch. He's going to take 11th place from Eric Papanow. Steve seems to be absolutely tracking these guys down as the laps tick away. Again, lap 67 of 100, so there's not going to be a whole lot of time left if these guys keep it up at the pace that they're going. And right now, if you're looking at the timing at the top of your screen, at the ticker, you'll see that these guys are averaging close to about 14.5 seconds per lap. Now, that's not exactly a whole lot of time. You could almost say that's about 4 laps every minute. And with that in mind, you gotta wonder to yourself as a driver, okay, what can I do to improve myself and to improve where I'm at and get further up this field? And Steve seems to be one of the drivers doing that. But another driver that is doing that, the 35 of Hayden Swank. Oh, the 973, Steve Seagar's goes sideways. Oh man, that's what I was talking about, folks. If you get too hot on that throttle coming out of these turns, turn 3 or turn 2, or excuse me, turn 2 or turn 4, oh man, it's gonna end poorly, just like it did there for the 973 Steve Seagar's. That is exactly what I was talking about, folks. It can happen to anybody, and all it takes is you might be a little confident going into the corner. You might be thinking to yourself, okay, I can go a little bit faster, just a mile an hour, 2 mile an hour, 3 mile an hour, whatever the case may be. As a driver, you're always trying to push that limit. You're always trying to take things just a little bit farther to get a little bit faster. And I think that's what happened here to Steve. And unfortunately, that's going to come at a huge cost for that 973. But Steve was absolutely on the hunt to try and work his way through that field. So unfortunate to see that happen here for Steve. But hopefully he'll be able to recover from that and get back out there and continue to improve. But as it looks like some of the field is going to be taking this opportunity during this caution to come down into pit road, get things sorted out. And we are actually going to take the moment here in the booth to take a quick commercial break, get ourselves something to drink here as well. So stay tuned for some more action. Grab yourself a drink, grab some snacks, as we only have about 29 laps, 30 laps left to go here as the timing just updated. Stay tuned, folks, for some more action here with the American Sim Racing Club for the Mountain Dew Modified Tour. Round number 6, presented to you by Tagare Property Management. We'll be right back with some more.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
And we are back with the action here, the American Sim Racing Club, and we are green flag racing here once again, and we now actually have a new leader for this race. Brett Hahn in the number 71 has overtaken the number 93 of Andrew Payne and is now going to be leading this race lap 72 of 100. Only a few laps left to go before we have a quarter of the way left to go in this race, so Andrew Payne is going to have to put things to the test here to see what he can possibly do here to retake that spot that he worked so hard for to maintain this entire time. Now looking just a little bit back in the field, the number 52 of Austin Nielsen has now taken 4th place as the caution flies here one more time. I'm not exactly sure what for. I don't have an incident on my timing, so I'm going to assume that it was an incident that I did not catch on screen. So we're gonna go back in here into another caution, our 8th caution, and we only have 25 laps left to go here tonight, folks. So things are going to wrap up here very, very quickly for these guys, and now that the field is kind of shaken up a little bit in the front, but only for a moment. Only for a moment, and I say that because now as we have another chance at a restart here, that gives Andrew Payne the opportunity to get back that 1st place position, but he's going to be at a slight disadvantage being on the outside of that 71 of Brett Hahn, assuming that we do a double file restart here this time around once again. So, a couple different factors being thrown out here tonight, and with a few drivers already being put out of the field due to some of the incidents that we've seen here tonight, it's definitely Las Vegas. The Bullring has definitely seen a lot of carnage here with the American Sim Racing Club for the Mountain Dew Modified Tour. But I gotta say, it's been exciting, it's been fun, and I hope that these drivers are having fun and are trying to have a good time at least. I know that after a while cautions can get a little tedious and a little repetitive, but again, that's the nature of racing, and until you get it figured out, that's how things go sometimes. And sometimes we even see these types of things happen in real life racing, so it's not exactly too far out of the ordinary to have events where it seems like all you have are cautions. But as the lights go off on the pace car, we are going to see the field come around one more time before the pace car heads back into pit road. And I'm curious to see here what that number 93 of Andrew Payne is going to do here on this restart. And there it goes. Pace car back into pit road. I'm just anxiously waiting for that green flag to fly here one more time. And there it goes. Brett Hahn going to be taken off on the field here once again. Andrew Payne looking like he was trying to stick with it there for just a second. He's going to find himself a little bit wide. Skip Gandy down on his inside going into turn 3. Skip Gandy still on his inside coming out of turn 4. Who's going to take home Tekken right now as we go? 25 laps left to go here in this race. Skip Gandy going to take it out in front of the number 93. He's going to push that number 93 of Andrew Payne into 3rd place. Eric Papanow in the 43, however, creeping in 4th place. He's right on the tail of that number 93. He almost saw them make contact there as the 93 was coming down to join the field for 3rd place there as they make their way out of turn 4 there. Eric Papanow looking to find some room here on the track to maybe make an overtake happen here in these final few laps. John Kane having an incident, a yellow flag flying here once again. We're going to see if we can have a look here at what happened here to the number 29 of John Kane. John Kane here in 6th place, it looks like. He's going to have an incident all on his lonesome involving 2 other cars here. Doesn't look like he suffered a whole lot of damage, but I'm sure that car is definitely not feeling right after a hit like that. He's definitely going to have to come take it down into pit road, get things looked at by the mechanics, and make sure that it's safe to drive for the rest of the race here. And with only 23 laps left to go, I gotta say, guys, it's gonna be a battle. I think a lot of these guys right now, they're gonna start to be feeling some nerves at this point. They're wanting to get this race done and over with. 22 laps doesn't seem like a lot, and when you're behind the wheel, oh man, 15 seconds can sometimes feel like an eternity. So I think some nerves are definitely setting in here at the bull ring, and a lot of guys, they're wanting to try and really push things towards the tail end of the race. I mean, and that's natural for a lot of drivers to do that in a lot of longer races like this one where you have 100 laps, and you don't really want to push things too early on. That definitely can have its disadvantages. So drivers wanting to push later on towards the race and try and make overtakes happen towards the last 25, 30, 40 laps or so, depending on the race where you're at. It's definitely not uncommon. I'm definitely used to seeing things like that here. So there's a couple different things that could be going on here that could be contributing to these kind of end of stage, end of feature race cautions here. But even still, with those in mind, everyone is doing just a fantastic job, just trying to keep this race going and keep things as steady as possible. As the lights are off on the pace car here once again, 23 laps left to go. We're going to go in green flag here one more time. Skip Gandy's going to be on the outside of the 71 of Brett Hahn here on this restart. So as the green flag flies, we're going to see Brett Hahn on the loud pedal as early as possible, going to get away from the 20 of Skip Gandy as quickly as he possibly can. Austin Nielsen, Eric Papanow both duking it out side by side right now for 3rd place. You can see Austin Nielsen right on the outside of that number 25 machine, or excuse me, of that number 43 machine. Eric Papanow trying to get away from that 52, and there he does successfully. Nick Fleury now getting very close to that number 52 machine, almost touching for just a moment. Nick Fleury now going to get out in front of the 52 of Austin Nielsen. Ron Hart going to be trying to do the same here. Austin Nielsen trying to find some room to get down on that low line. Andrew Payne not going to let him have it. He's going to try and get down in there before that 52 can find any room to squeeze in. That's going to put Austin Nielsen at a huge disadvantage here. 18 laps left to go, and he's just getting passed by the field here just by being in the wrong part of the track, and I'm sure he is definitely not too thrilled about that at this point in time. I know that I definitely wouldn't be. if I was him either. So Nick Fleury, though, in 4th place now. He's chasing down Eric Papineau, who's in 3rd. These guys all just pushing everything they can. 16 laps left to go here. Everyone is doing a thrilling job here. You can see the 051 of Ron Hart getting as close as he possibly can to the action here, brewing for the top 5, as Ron Hart is the position 5 holder at this time. With 15 laps left to go here, and they're just ticking away right before our eyes, just like a carousel, it seems like, with this angle. But Andrew Payne, our prior race leader, who led the race for about 50 laps, finding himself now in 6th place with 13 laps left to go. I'm sure Andrew is not too happy about where he's at right now, but I'm sure that he's definitely content with the performance that he had here for the Bull Ring, especially being that this is the first race here at the Bull Ring for the American Sim Racing Club and the Mountain Dew Modified Tour. As the caution flies here once again, we're going to see who's involved in this one here. Looks like Noah Boucher going to be involved in this one. The number 16 here on your screen, down on the bottom line, coming into turn 3. He's going to get tapped by the number 2, John DeMeester, coming out of turn 4. That's going to send him down to the bottom, just on the exit of turn 4. So not really too much that happened from that one. Just a little bit of a fender bender, if you will. And with 12 laps left to go here, guys, this is things are getting very, very interesting here, I do have to say. I was expecting drivers to definitely put the pressure on one another here going into sort of the final half of this race here, but I wasn't expecting it to quite go to this extent. This is definitely something that I did not expect here, so it's great to see, and hopefully we see it play forward going into the rest of the season here, as the pace car has made its way into pit road, and we are going to get started on things here once again. Coming out of turn 4, the green flag flies one more time. Brett Hahn leading the field as usual here in the second half, and we have action brewing with Eric Papineau getting awfully close to drivers on his outside. Andrew Payne in 4th place. Oh, he's going to work his way back into 5th. He's going to be side by side now with the 051 of Ron Hart. Andrew Payne, going to be falling back here just a little bit once again, back into 6th place. But Eric Papineau up 13 positions from where he started in tonight's race. The number 43 machine doing incredible work here with 9 laps left to go, chasing down Nick Fleury in that number 25, as he's going to try and work his way into the top 3 here. These guys absolutely on a mission, every single one of them, all doing what they possibly can here. Oh, looks like Eric Papineau is about to have a moment here, riding on board with the 051 of Ron Hart as he dips down on the inside of Eric Papineau. He actually is going to work his way around him. Ron Hart now chasing down the 25 of Nick Fleury, trying to get as close as he can to that number 25 machine. You can already see he's almost on that bumper, looking absolutely fantastic here in that 051. Ron Hart doing great work here from start to finish. 5 laps left to go here. We're going to see where these guys finish here as things progress on. But Brett Hahn still leading this race so far, with Skip Gandy in 2nd. You can see there Brett Hahn just slowly getting away from the rest of this field here. With 4 laps left to go, it's pretty much a battle for the top 2 and 3 positions right now, with Skip Gandy and Nick Fleury both holding those positions respectively. Ron Hart in that 051, who's in 4th. He is almost on the bumper of that 25 of Nick Fleury. And guys, there's not a whole lot of time left here for anything to happen, so it's pretty much just keep things smooth and keep things going here for the final couple laps. As once Brett Hahn crosses the checkered line, this will be our final lap here at the Bull Ring. And I gotta say, folks, it has been absolutely incredible to be here today. I gotta thank everyone for coming here tonight and watching today's race. It has been fantastic to broadcast this event and put this on for everyone here tonight as the drivers make their way across the checkered line and conclude their race here for round number 6 of the Mtn Dew Modified Tour. And what a race, folks. From start to finish, this was just wild. With the incidents that we had, with the changes in the field that we had, everything just happened very, very quickly, and that's definitely what I expected here tonight. But we are going to get into our race results here. Brett Hahn taking home the win, doing his celebratory burnouts. Skip Gandy taking home 2nd place, and Nick Fleury taking it home 3rd. That is going to round out your top 3 here tonight, and we are going to get started with our post-race interviews. And the first driver that we are going to have up on the list, Nick Fleury in the number 25 machine, is going to be our first driver that we're going to have up in here in the booth. So we're going to go ahead and pull him in here real quick.
Track racing, it's tough.
Nick, sir, can you read me?
I can.
Nick, thank you for coming down here in the booth, having a chat with me. You took home 3rd place today after a very hard-fought battle, it seemed like. Nick, the field just seemed to almost kind of struggle here tonight at Las Vegas. What kind of things were you experiencing here on track? And what are your opinions here of the Bull Ring, being that this is the first time that American Sim Racing Club has come here to Las Vegas to the Bull Ring?
Yeah, I didn't struggle too bad, but it's definitely a track you have to have a ridiculous amount of patience. It's very easy to overdrive the corners and drive into the guys that are in front of you. So if you just exercise that patience and hit your apexes, you're going to be fast.
Absolutely. Now, coming here and taking home 3rd place, it definitely seemed like the 25 was very fast out here, but we also had a lot of other drivers here tonight that definitely were hungry to get into that top 3. Having successfully worked your way through the field here tonight, Nick, how are you feeling after some tough battles here at the Bull Ring going forward into the rest of the season?
I'm feeling pretty good. It definitely was a mental challenge at this track just to keep your cool and just hit your marks and don't let the guys behind you intimidate you, but I feel like I'm in a great place to finish off the rest of the season.
Awesome, Nick. Well, again, thank you for coming out here and having a chat with me in the booth, and congratulations again on 3rd place. Now, before I let you go and celebrate, is there anyone at home, anyone watching the broadcast that you want to give a shout out to or thank before you head out?
Yeah, first off, my Lord and Savior, he's so good to me and blesses me. Next, my wife, she's so gracious to me and letting me play around with this on several nights a week. Then I definitely need to thank my sponsors, CPM Incorporated, Django Home Improvement, Mike's Garage. They really give me some fast race cars. And my teammates, Brett and Dave, they are really great help and a lot of fun to work with. And then finally, I need to thank the league sponsors, Mtn Dew and Tagare Property Management. They're really good to us, and we really appreciate them a lot.
Awesome, Nick. Well, thank you for coming out here having a chat with me again. Nick, it's always great having you up here in the booth, and congratulations on your 3rd place finish. I look forward to chatting with you here again, and good luck to you in future endeavors.
Great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, Nick. Have a good night. All right, that's going to be Nick Fleury out of the booth. Up next, we're going to have Skip Gandy down here in the booth, taking home second place in the 20 machine. Skip, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, sir.
Skip, man, they're honestly, keeping up with the field here tonight was a little challenging. We had a lot of battles forming all over the field, and just drivers changing position all over due to drivers just getting a little bit loose coming out of the turns, drivers colliding with one another. There was a plethora of things, but Skip, you definitely seem to be very comfortable out there, sticking it out in second place and holding there for quite some time. Now, what was kind of going through your head coming into tonight, and what kind of gave you the power to push through and take home second tonight?
Well, during practice, I found a little bit of speed that I wasn't thinking I'd have here because it's a pretty tough track. And then my teammate, we decided we were going to stay out on the set of tires we had and battle it out and see what happens. And luckily, I saved enough just to make it to the end in second.
Awesome. Yeah. Definitely looked like there was a lot of strategy involved in just keeping it out in front of the field here. Just a lot of carnage out on track. Just a lot of different things that you had to keep an eye out for, Skip. But you did a great job. You took home second place. Now, does it give you any kind of confidence going forward into the rest of the season? This was definitely seemed like one of the harder races of the season. Now, are you kind of expecting any other sort of difficult races this season, or is this one kind of the peak of it?
This is definitely probably the peak of it, but I was just happy that I ran where I did, and I contemplated taking the tires, but like you said, everybody's getting bounced around like ping pongs back there, so figured this was the best solution.
Yeah, absolutely. It was thrilling to watch through and through. But before I let you go here, Skip, and I got to thank you for coming out here and chatting with me in the booth. Is there anyone at home, anyone watching the broadcast that you want to shout out or thank before you head out?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Tagare. I'd like to thank Liberty Live. I'd like to thank PPM for Eric, for my teammate, for painting all my cars. And I'd like to thank all the admins for putting this series on. And I'd like to thank everybody that's helped me along the way.
Awesome, Skip. Congratulations on second place. And again, thank you for coming out here and chat with me in the booth. Hopefully we get to have a similar conversation going forward, and good luck in future races.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, have a good night, man. All right, Skip Gandy is now out of the booth here, and we are going to go ahead and try and all right. So the final driver that we have here tonight, Brett Hahn, our race winner, taking home the win here tonight. Brett, sir, do you have a read?
Yeah, I got you, Mason.
Brett, man, what a race. I know that yourself and Andrew Payne really didn't see a whole lot of it towards the beginning, as you two were kind of just battling each other for quite some time, or rather, you were chasing him down for about 50, 60 laps or so. Brett, what was it like chasing down Andrew Payne in that, in that number 93 machine, and after you got around him and started to get away from the rest of the field, what was kind of going through your head tonight in that number 71?
Yeah, Mason, first and foremost, yeah, Andrew is a great competitor, just like all the other guys out here, super quick. He would, that leader had such an advantage on the restarts. You could jump out there, do like 5 to 10 car lengths, almost a whole second. So I'd spend the next 5 to 10 laps just reeling him back in, hit my marks perfectly, put all the pressure, sliding the car around. I never really felt too many times under braking really comfortable with this car. This setup was a handful tonight, and it definitely put the drivers to work. But finally able to keep the pressure on Andrew for about, I want to say it felt like 20 laps. I don't know how many laps it was, Mason. This race felt like it was 2 hours. I was over here. I'm sweating my butt off. I'm a little bit under the weather. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice a little bit. Definitely not feeling the best, but still out here wheeling the car as much as I could. And yeah, just had to keep the pressure on Andrew, hope for a mistake. And I saw him hit the wall right at the start-finish line, and I yanked the car down to the left to not hit him, but also try and get under him. And luckily had enough of a run that I was able to hold it, and somehow had enough momentum to keep it a drag race down the backstretch, and then just took it nice and easy on the corner entries because I knew if I could keep him to my outside, then I could complete the pass and then put him in my mirror, and then hopefully no more yellows. And of course, we got more yellows after that.
Absolutely. Well, even a little flu, even a little sickness can't take down Brett the Jet Hahn, taking home first place. Now, Brett, one more question for you. You mentioned as well that the setups were a little bit tricky tonight. I also mentioned it in the broadcast that it just seemed like these cars and this track combination just definitely seemed like a tricky combination. Now, I asked the same question to Skip Gandy, and I'm going to ask the same to you. Do you think this track is sort of the peak of, I guess, difficult tracks for this season, or do you expect there to be one more tricky track to expect here in the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think this was definitely one of the ones on the schedule that not too many people race here, but it's such a fun track. Me and the other RHU boys were talking. We're like, this needs to be a permanent track that we come here every season because it's just so much fun. It's such a driver's track, really floated in the corners. And that's what was kind of unpredictable. You're always used to these things with such fat, wide, sticky tires that it always seems planted, where as we came here, especially in the 3, if you didn't hit your marks, you were spinning around. I mean, I spent the first half of practice just looping it every single time into 3, just trying to find that edge, and I could never really feel it. I mean, there's a couple of times when I was behind Andrew that I almost looped it myself, so it definitely was a very driver's track, and I really enjoyed it for that reason alone, and to come out of here with a victory on top of it, just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, absolutely, Brett. You looked fantastic out there, and like you said yourself, once you were able to get away from Andrew Payne, you pretty much had it in the bag from there. You were looking very comfortable out there. So I got to give you huge congratulations, Brett, especially coming out here not feeling the best and taking home a win. Definitely a huge accomplishment for the 71. Now, before I let you go and get a little bit of rest and hopefully feel a little bit better, is there anyone at home, anyone watching the broadcast that you want to shout out or thank before you head out?
Yeah, of course, Mason. First, I got to thank my grandma, Grammy. It's her birthday today, so happy birthday to Grammy. Hopefully this victory, put it in victory lane for you for her birthday present, so that's pretty awesome to do that for her today. She's an avid supporter, always watching these broadcasts, if not tonight, for sure on the replay tomorrow. So, of course, you, Mason, out there for the broadcast team, Goon Squad. Got to thank all the ASRC boys, Tagare, Mountain Dew, PepsiCo, Frito-Lay, all the main sponsors that make this league happen. Turn 3 Racing Network, Brett the Jet Productions, RHU, all my teammates, all the admins, all the competitors out here tonight. Andrew, that was an awesome battle. And then looking forward to next week at Richmond here, Mason. Should be a fun one.
Absolutely. Richmond's going to be a great one here, Brett. Again, thank you for coming up here and chatting with me in the booth before you head out here, and congratulations again on first place, and hopefully you start to feel a little bit better, Brett, and hopefully next week at Richmond we can have a similar conversation.
Yep, Mason, hopefully looking to come back even stronger, especially feeling better. So, yep, everyone at home, have a good night, and just flew by you.
Absolutely, Brett. Have a great night. Good chatting with you.
You too.
All right, folks. That is going to conclude our post-race interviews with Brett the Jet Hahn out of the production booth for tonight. What a race that we had here tonight at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas for round number 6 of the Mountain Dew Modified Tour, presented to you by Tagare Property Management. Again, huge shout out to those guys for sponsoring this event and this series. It's great to be here doing this broadcast for this league with American Sim Racing Club. And again, if you would like to check out more of what American Sim Racing Club has to offer, head on over to their website, americansimracingclub.com. Check out some of the other series that they have there, and if it's something that you would like to be interested in and participate in for the next season. And if you would also like to pick up some merchandise for either Team Goon Squad or the American Sim Racing Club, head on over to teamgoonsquad.com. Check out some of the merchandise that we have there. Anything purchased for the American Sim Racing Club goes to 50% of the profit goes directly back to the league to help support future endeavors. Again, my name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad bringing you tonight's action. I hope everyone enjoyed watching and looks forward to next week at Richmond. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. I will see you all next week for the next one for round number 7. Thank you, and have a great night.